Good day, everyone, and our topic for this day is about the six trigonometric ratios. Our objectives are correctly illustrate the six trigonometric ratios: the sine, cosine, tangent, the secant, cosecant, and cotangent. Okay, in trigonometric ratios, so we are going to deal with right triangle. Again, when we have a right triangle, this is a triangle with one right angle or with one interior angle of 90 degrees. In a right triangle with the Greek letter theta as one of the acute angles. In this triangle, okay, so ito ay nagpapakita ng 90 degree measure ng ating angle. And then, the other angles are acute. Okay, so maybe yung angle na tinutukoy natin ay nandito or pwedeng nandito sa itaas. Okay, so let us define what is trigonometry. Since we are going to have the six trigonometric ratios, let us define this. When we say trigonometry, it is the branch of mathematics that deals with the relationships of the lengths and the angles of triangles. Trigonometry comes from the Greek word trigonon, which means triangle, and metron, which means to measure. Okay, so let us identify the parts of a right triangle. In this right triangle, sa right side ninyo, itong longest side ay i-represent natin siya as small letter C. And then the other sides ay pwede nating represent as A or B. Okay? So the first part of a right triangle, aside of having a right angle, okay, we have the hypotenuse. When we say hypotenuse, that is the longest side of the triangle. It is always the opposite to the right angle. So, from this, ang ating hypotenuse ay katapat ng right angle. So, kung ito ang 90 degree natin na measure sa angle, yung katapat na side niya, that is the hypotenuse. Okay, so our hypotenuse in this triangle is side C. Okay, and then we have the adjacent. The adjacent side, that is the side next to theta, but not the hypotenuse. So, if ever we have an acute angle, okay, here, okay, and we are going to represent it as theta, ang adjacent side niya ay yung B, aside kay hypotenuse. When we say adjacent, katabi. Okay, dito sa theta natin, dalawang side ang katabi niya. Itong isang ito and yung isang ito. Okay, but then, hindi kasama si hypotenuse. So, yung isang side na katabi ng theta, yan ang tinatawag natin na adjacent. Halimbawa naman, na nandito yung ating theta sa itaas, okay, nasa itaas, ang adjacent side nitong theta na to ay side A. Okay? Kasi ang katabi ng theta natin sa itaas ay yung hypotenuse and yung side nito. Okay, so aside sa hypotenuse, yung isang side na katabi ng mismong theta natin ay tinatawag nating adjacent. Let us discuss the opposite side. So the third part of a right triangle is the opposite side with respect to the position of the theta. Again, if ever na nandito yung ating theta, and ang opposite side niya ng ating theta ay tinatawag natin na opposite side. Okay, so if we place the theta here, ang opposite side niya, meaning katapat ng ating theta, katapat or kaharap ng theta natin. Okay, so yun yung opposite side. From this triangle, ang opposite side ng theta natin is A. If ever na nandito yung theta natin, ang opposite side ng ating theta na ito is side B. Okay, so na-identify na natin yung parts ng right triangle. The hypotenuse, that is the longest side of the right triangle. And then the adjacent, when we say adjacent, that is yung katabi. Okay, katabi. And yung opposite side, that is the side na katapat or kaharap ng theta. Okay? When we say theta, that is the angle. We refer it as an angle. Okay, so the six trigonometric functions, the first one is we have the sine. Okay, hindi siya sine, that is the sine. Okay, so sa scientific calculator ninyo, nakikita nyo dyan as SIN or sin. But we are going to pronounce it as sine. Okay, and then another trigonometric ratio, we have the cosine. Okay, and sa calculator nyo naman, magagamit natin dyan yung cos. Next, the tangent. Okay, the tangent, that is tan. Yung shortcut ng tangent, that is tan. Okay, the cosecant, that is CSC. Okay, hindi nyo na may kita sa ating scientific calculator, pero yun ay reciprocal lang ng sine. Okay, and then we have the secant. Ang secant natin ay represent natin siya, or maikling version yan is sec, S-E-C. Cotangent is represented as COT or cot. Okay, so from all those six trigonometric ratios, meron tayong shortcut ng pagsosolve ng right triangles, that is the SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so yung SOHCAHTOA ay manggagaling sa sine, cosine, tangent, and yung OH and yung A ay manggagaling sa hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent side mula do sa parts ng right triangle. Okay, the hypotenuse as H, A as the adjacent, and opposite as O. Okay, so katawa. Okay, so let us discuss all these trigonometric ratios. Okay, so we have three basic trigonometric functions. Okay, yung tatlong yon ay mula dun sa anim na trigonometric ratios. One of that is the sine function. When we say sine function or sine ratio, okay, so from sine ratio, we are going to use this to mula dun sa so, ka, towa. It means the sine, opposite, and hypotenuse. So, S-O-H. In this, we are taking the opposite side and the hypotenuse of a triangle. Okay, so for example, we have this right triangle with sides A, B, and C is the hypotenuse. We have a theta or an angle dito sa ating right triangle. Okay? So, the sine theta is equal to the opposite over hypotenuse. The SO. Okay? S-O over H. Okay? So, kalimbawa, nandito yung ating theta. Yung sine theta, kapag kinuha natin yung value ng sine theta, okay, please be reminded na kapag meron tayong trigonometric functions, lagi siyang merong kasamang angle. Bawa, sine theta, cosine theta, cosine 45 degrees, cosine 100 degrees. Okay? Kapag walang angle dyan, wala tayong makukuhang value. If our theta is placed here, okay, kunin natin yung opposite niya. Okay, opposite. Okay, from this theta, ang opposite niya is yung A. So, maglagay tayo ng fraction bar, then A over hypotenuse. From our theta, ang hypotenuse natin dito sa right triangle is C. So, sine theta is equal to A over C. Okay, halimbawa, meron pa tayong sine alpha. Okay, kapag kukunin natin yung sine alpha, so magitan pa rin ng sine angle or sine theta is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Okay, if we have this alpha, ang opposite naman niya is B over hypotenuse. Ang hypotenuse natin ay C. So, sine alpha is equal to B over C. Cosine function. The cosine function, the cosine ratio, we are going to use the K. C-A-H mula doon sa SOHCAHTOA. K na yan, ang ibig sabihin yan is cosine ratio deals with the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. Okay, again, if we have this right triangle with sides A, B, and C is the hypotenuse, to get the cosine theta, that is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Again, if we have this theta, Para makuha natin yung ating cosine theta, kukunin natin yung adjacent side ng right triangle with respect to the position of theta. Okay, so ang adjacent natin, ibig sabihin ng adjacent, that is yung katabing side ng theta. So from this theta, ang katabing sides niya ay yung C and B. But si C ay si hypotenuse, so therefore, ang kukunin nating adjacent para dito kay theta natin is side B. Over, ang hypotenuse naman natin is C. Okay, so cosine theta is equal to B over C. Diba, maglalagay tayo ng angle dito. Halimbawa, ang angle naman dito is angle M. Okay, angle M. So, what is the cosine M? Okay, so we have cosine M, that is M. Ang opposite niya is B, pero ang adjacent natin is side A. Okay? So, ang C pa rin natin is the hypotenuse. So, the cosine M is equal to A over C. Okay, ganun lang ang pagkuha natin ng ratios dun sa ating right triangle. Let's say tangent function. Okay, gagamitin naman natin mula sa SOHCAHTOA ay yung TOA. And TOA means tangent ratio uses the opposite and adjacent sides. Okay, so for example, if we have this kind of right triangle with sides A, B, and C, tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Okay, so halimbawa, nandito yung ating theta. Okay, what is tan theta? Okay, ang tan theta, kukunin natin opposite and adjacent. Okay, with respect sa position ng ating theta, ano yung opposite side niya? Ang opposite side natin ay A. So, A over, ano yung adjacent side? Ang katabi ng theta natin is side C and side B. But since si C ay hypotenuse, therefore, si B na yung adjacent. So, tan theta is equal to A over B. Okay, halimbawa, meron pa tayo isa pang angle dito, and yung angle na yon is angle M uli. Okay? And kukunin natin yung value ng tangent M. Tangent angle M. To get the value of tangent M, again, gagamitin natin yung TOA. That is opposite over adjacent. So, opposite ng ating angle M is B over, ang adjacent naman ng angle M is A. So, tangent M is equal to B over A. B over A, that is the final answer. Okay, and then the three trigonometric functions, dun sa nabigay natin kanina, we have the cosecant function, that is the reciprocal of sine ratio. Okay, ang secant ratio, that is the reciprocal of cosine ratio, and the cotangent ratio is the reciprocal of the tangent ratio. Ang cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. Ang secant theta is hypotenuse over adjacent. And ang cotangent theta is equal to adjacent over opposite. Okay? So, pakisulat ito sa inyong notebook. Okay, ito lang kailangan natin tandaan, no? Ang tatandaan lang natin dyan is yung so, ka, towa. Okay? Ang S, that is the sine, C is the cosine, and T is the tangent. Kapag ang kinukuha natin is yung sine theta, that is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And sabi kanina, ang reciprocal ng sine ratio is cosecant. So, kapag kukunin natin ang cosecant theta, that is equal to, i-reciprocal lang natin. Ngayon, si reciprocal ng numerator magiging denominator, and yung denominator magiging numerator. So, yung hypotenuse mula doon sa sine theta, gagawin natin siyang numerator, hypotenuse over opposite. Okay? Next is the cosine theta. Ang cosine theta natin, from SOHCAH, ka naman tayo, yung C, okay, that is the adjacent over hypotenuse, HYP. Okay, and kapag kukunin naman natin yung value ng theta, secant theta, according to this, that is the reciprocal of cosine ratio. So, if cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, therefore, the secant theta is hypotenuse over adjacent. Oh, kasi reciprocal lang naman eh. And then the last thing is the tangent theta. Ang tangent theta natin ay magiging basis lang natin para matandaan natin is yung TOA, tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So, opposite over adjacent. And kapag kukunin natin yung value ng cotangent theta, that is equal to adjacent over opposite. So, ganun lang ang gagawin natin or kailangan natin tandaan sa trigonometric ratios. Now, let us discuss the special triangle 45, 45, 90 degrees. In 45, 45, 90 degrees, this is an isosceles right triangle which two sides are equal. Okay, so again, when we say isosceles triangle, the triangle has two sides that are congruent or they have the same measurement. Okay, so an isosceles right triangle, aside of having two sides that are equal, yung isang angle natin is 90 degrees. Okay, we all know that kapag kinuha natin sum ng interior angles ng triangle, it must be 180 degrees. And kapag meron daw tayong 45, 45, 90 degree special triangle, at meron tayong two sides na magkakaroon tayo ng two sides na parehas sa measurement. If ever na ang makukuha nating measurement na dito sa isang side is 1, of course, we are dealing with isosceles triangle, so dapat ito rin ay 1. And kapag kinuha natin yung hypotenuse, dito, gamit ang Pythagorean theorem, ang makukuha natin is square root of 2. So, this kind of triangle, that is the unit triangle in which kapag meron tayong side na 1 unit, ang makuha nating hypotenuse is square root of 2. Okay, halimbawa, sa special right triangle, ang measurement dito is 2. Of course, kapag 45, 45, 90, dapat ito rin ay 2. Dapat pareha sila ng measurement. And then, ang magiging measurement dito is 2 square root of 2. Ang magiging measurement ng ating hypotenuse, that is 2 square root of 2. Another example, kapag ang measurement ng isang side ng right triangle, isosceles right triangle is 3, so of course, dapat dito rin ay 3. And ang measurement dito sa ating hypotenuse is 3 square root of 2. Okay, pwede nyong ma-prove yan sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng Pythagorean theorem. Okay, that is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Kapag kukunin natin ang sine 45, okay, sine 45. Okay, this is the angle, sine 45. That is the opposite. Okay, so, TOA. Okay, sine 45. If this is sine 45, ang makukuha natin is ang opposite niya. Okay, ang opposite ng 45 degrees, that is 1. So, nakalagay sa numerator is 1 over the hypotenuse. Ang hypotenuse natin is square root of 2. So, 1 over square root of 2. And, di ba, ayon sa mga napag-aralan natin, kailangan ma-eliminate natin ang radical sign sa denominator. So, when we have 1 over square root of 2, multiply natin siya, multiply natin by square root of 2. So, we will have square root of 2. 1 times square root of 2, that's square root of 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2. The answer is 2. Wala nang radical sign sa denominator. So, that is why sine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. And ganun din ang gagawin natin sa ibang functions. Ang tatandaan natin kapag special triangle, ang measurement ng sides na katapat ng 45 degrees, okay, ay dapat parehas ng measurement. Again, yung opposite side ng ating 45 degrees, ay kailangan parehas ng measurement. And yung measurement natin dito, whatever the measurement ng ating mga legs, i-multiply lang natin kay square root of 2. Okay, that is 45, 45, 90 degrees. The 30, 60, 90 degrees. The 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle, that is a right scalene triangle. When we say scalene triangle, yung sides ng ating triangle na yon ay iba-iba. Whose ratios of hypotenuse is hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent are 2, square root of 3, and 1. Okay? So, as you can see in dito sa ating figure, kapag meron tayong angle na 60 degrees, ang katapat niya is square root of 3. Ang katapat ng 90 degrees, that is 2. Okay, and then katapat ng ating 30 degrees, that is 1. Halimbawa, ang ating measurement ng ating opposite side ng 30 degrees is 2. Okay, dadoblehin lang natin dito. So, times 2 tayo dito. So, magiging 4 yan. Tapos, ito rin, magiging 2 square root of 3. Okay, another example, kapag, tatandaan lang natin ha, na ang katapat na side ng 30 degrees, that is the 1. Okay, and doble siya ng measurement dun sa hypotenuse. So, if ever nga na kung ito ay 1, doble siya dun sa ating hypotenuse. Under lang yan ng 30, 60, 90 degrees. Again, kapag meron naman tayong measurement, halimbawa dito ay 3, tapos dapat doble siya dun sa hypotenuse, so it must be 6. And ang measurement naman natin dito ay manggagaling dun sa opposite side ng 30 degrees. So, dapat ito ay magiging 3 square root of 3. If you have sine 30 degrees, that is the SOHCAHTOA, opposite over hypotenuse. And titingnan natin yung 30 degrees. Ang katapat ni 30 degrees, that is 1. Okay, so 1 yung ating numerator over hypotenuse, and ang hypotenuse natin ay 2. Okay, so that is why sine 30 is equal to 1 over 2. Kung gagamit kayo ng scientific calculator, itatype nyo po doon, sine 30, ang lalabas dyan is 1/2 or 0.5. Special triangles, tatandaan lang, 45, 45, 90 degrees, dapat ang measurement dito ay parehas dito. And whatever the measurement of the legs, multiply lang natin kay square root of 2 para dun sa hypotenuse. And sa 30, 60, 90 degrees, ang opposite side ng 30, that is x, or yung 1, yung unit triangle natin. And doble lang siya ng measurement dun sa hypotenuse. And para makuha yung measurement ng opposite side naman ng 60 degrees, i-multiply lang natin siya doon sa measurement ng opposite side ng ating 30 degrees sa square root of 3. Let us proceed with problem solving. Example number 1. Find the unknown side and 6 trigonometric ratios of angle theta using the right triangle shown. Okay, so we have this triangle with sides 3 units and 4 units. And the unknown side here is the hypotenuse. Okay, so for us to know the 6 trigonometric ratios, we must able to get the measurement of all sides ng ating right triangle. And from this, the hypotenuse is unknown. So we have to get the measurement of the hypotenuse. And to get the measurement of the hypotenuse, we are going to use the Pythagorean equation. Okay? Kung i-recall natin ang Pythagorean equation, that is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. And ang c natin ay magmumula sa hypotenuse, which is x, then squared equals 3 squared plus 4 squared. So, any side ang unahin nyo, pwedeng 3, pwedeng 4. And then we have x squared is equal to 3 squared, that is 9, plus 4 squared and 16. And then, continuing this, we have x squared is equal to 9 plus 16 equals 25. And para ma-eliminate natin ang exponent na 2, i-square root natin, cancel. So, x is equal to square root of 25, that is 5. So, the measurement ng ating hypotenuse is 5. So, nakumpleto na natin yung ating measurement ng sides So, pwede na nating makuha ang trigonometric ratios ng theta natin dito sa ating triangle. So, to get the sine theta, okay, we are going to use the SOHCAHTOA. Okay? Ang natin, that is opposite over hypotenuse. So, sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. And with respect sa position ng theta natin, kunin natin yung opposite side or yung katapat. Okay? Ang katapat ng theta natin is 3. So, we have 3 over, the hypotenuse is 5. So, we have to put 5. So, the sine theta is equal to 3 over 5. 3 over 5, that is the final answer for sine theta. For cosine theta, balikan natin yung SOHCAHTOA and titingnan natin yung first letter. And yung cos, that is letter C, so gagamitin natin is yung K. Okay, so yung K, that is the adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse. With respect again dun sa ating angle, ang adjacent side niya is 4 over the opposite, over the hypotenuse, that is 5. So, cosine theta is 4 over 5. The tan theta, ang tan theta natin ay balikan natin sa katowa and gagamitin natin is yung towa. That is the opposite over adjacent. So, opposite over adjacent. And it is equal to, with respect against sa theta, ang opposite natin is 3. So, we have 3 over adjacent is 4. Okay, so tan theta is 3 over 4. To get the cosecant, again, that is the reciprocal of sine theta. So, reciprocate lang natin ang 3 over 5. So, cosecant theta, that is 5 over 3. Ang value ng secant theta ay reciprocal lang ng cosine theta. So, that is why the secant theta is 5 over 4. And the cotangent, that is the reciprocal of tangent theta. So, the cotangent theta is 4 over 3. So, 3 over 5, 4 over 5, 3 over 4, 5 over 3, 5 over 4, and 4 over 3. Yun ang 6 trigonometric ratios ng ating triangle. And these are now the final answers. Example number 2. Find the unknown side and the 6 trigonometric ratios of the angle theta using the right triangle shown below. Okay, in this triangle, ang measurement na meron lang tayo is 3 and 45 degrees. Our task is to get the unknown sides and yung 6 trigonometric ratios ng ating angle theta. Para makuha natin yung ibang measurement ng sides natin and yung 6 trigonometric ratios, matatandaan natin na makuha lamang natin ito, yung 6 trigonometric ratios, kapag kumpleto na ang measurements ng sides natin. But meron tayong angle na 45 degrees. So, yung angle na tinutukoy natin, yung theta na tinutukoy natin dito is yung 45 degrees. So, paano ba natin makukuha yung measurement ng ibang sides gamit ang 45 degrees? Kung babalikan natin ang special right triangle, kung ano man ang measurement ng isang side ng right triangle, ganun din ang measurement ng isang side ng right triangle. And kung ano man ang measurement ng side natin, ganun din ang may measure sa hypotenuse times square root of 2. Okay, so kung ito ay 45 degrees, we all know that the measurement of one angle is also 45 degrees. And kung ang measurement dito is 3 units, therefore, ang measurement ng isang side natin is also 3 units. And para makuha yung hypotenuse, i-multiply lang natin sa square root of 2. So, we have 3 square root of 2. So, from this, so, kompleto na natin ang measurement ng sides ng triangle. For our solutions, para makuha natin ang sine 45 naman, ang theta na tinutukoy natin dito is 45 degrees. Again, ang theta, that is an angle represented as an acute angle. And since parehas tayo ng 45 degrees, okay, sa ating angle, so it is either yung 45 degrees na nandito, na nasa itaas, or yung 45 degrees dito sa ibaba. Okay, sa taas or sa baba. Parehas na makukuha nating value. Okay, so the sine of 45, that is, again, gagamitin natin yung katawa. Okay, ang sine 45, that is still opposite over hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse natin is square root 3 square root of 2. Ang opposite naman natin, kung gagamitin natin itong 45 degrees, ang opposite side niya is 3. Simplifying this, solve natin siya. We have 3 over 3 square root of 2. Okay, and then cancel na to, and ito ay magiging 1 over square root of 2. And since meron tayong radical sign sa denominator, i-rationalize natin, we have square root of 2 over square root of 2. Okay, para mawala ang radical sign, so we will have square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so sine 45, that is equal to square root of 2 over 2. Root of 2 over 2. Next, ang cosine 45 ay ganun din, di ba? That is the adjacent over hypotenuse. Mula yan sa ka. Okay, and then, ang adjacent natin with respect sa 45 degrees is 3. 3 over hypotenuse is 3 square root of 2. Parehas lang siya doon sa sinolve natin kanina, which is square root of 2 over 2. So, cosine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. And the tangent 45. To get the tangent 45, that is the opposite over adjacent. Okay? Kung ito ulit, ang 45 degree na kukunin natin, ang opposite niya is 3 units is equal to 3 over. Ang adjacent natin is also 3. Okay, so 3 over 3, the answer is 1. Next, we have cosecant 45 degrees. To get the cosine 45 degrees, pwede nyo kunin ang 1 over square root of 2. Kapag nireciprocal yan, yan ay magiging square root of 2 over 1 or magiging square root of 2. Or, pwede rin kung gusto nyo gamitin yung square root of 2 over 2 na nakuha natin sa sine of 45 degrees. So, we have square root of 2 over 2. Okay, and then, reciprocate natin niya, magiging 2 over square root of 2. Okay, and then, since meron tayong radical sign sa ating denominator, i-rationalize natin yung denominator. So, we will have 2 over square root of 2 times, i-multiply natin kay square root of 2 over square root of 2, magiging 2 square root of 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2 is positive 2. Ma-cancel ang 2 natin. So, we will have square root of 2. So, that is why cosecant 45 degrees is square root of 2. Okay, so since ang sine 45 and cosine 45 ay parehas lang, so ang secant 45 naman natin is square root of 2 din. Okay, and then kapag ni-reciprocate din natin ang 3 over 3, ay parehas lang sa 3 over 3. So, that is equal to 1. So, 1 over 1, it is still 1. So, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1. Square root of 2, square root of 2, and 1. These are now the final answers. Example number 3. Find the unknown side and the 6 trigonometric ratios of angle 30 degrees with the right triangle shown. Okay, so let us observe our given. We have a right triangle with one angle that measures 60 degrees and the measurement of one side, which is 2 units. Okay? And to get the 6 trigonometric ratios of angle 30 degrees, we must complete the parts of the right triangle. Okay, so we have the 60 degrees and we have a right triangle. So if we have a right triangle, analyze natin yung given. Therefore, ito ay 90 degrees. Okay? And then, alam natin na ang total ng tatlong angles sa isang triangle is 180 degrees. Kung ito ay 60, tas ito ay 90, anong measurement ng angle na to? Okay, so we all know that it is 30 degrees. So 30 plus 60 plus 90, that is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, now, makuha na natin yung angles natin, yung measurement naman ng sides ng triangle. Kung meron tayong 2 dito na opposite ng 30 degrees, alam natin na mula sa pinag-aralan natin kanina sa 30, 60, 90 degrees, para makuha ang measurement ng ating hypotenuse, kailangan i-multiply lang natin siya by 2 doon sa ating, idodoble lang natin yung measurement ng opposite side ng 30 degrees doon sa 2. Okay? Again, para makuha ang hypotenuse, doblehin lang natin yung measurement ng opposite side ng 30 degrees. And ang opposite side ng 30 degrees is 2, so therefore, ang hypotenuse natin is 4. Okay? And para makuha naman ang measurement nito, okay, kung babalikan natin kanina, i-multiply lang natin yung measurement ng opposite side ng 30 degrees doon sa square root of 3. Kung ito ay 2, therefore, ang measurement dito is 2 square root of 3. So, nakompleto na natin ang measurements ng sides ng ating triangle. Okay, now, let us now get the trigonometric ratios ng angle 30 degrees. Okay? Ayusin lang natin. Okay? Ang measurement dito is 30 degrees. Dito ay 90 degrees. And then, dito sa ating hypotenuse is 4. And ang measurement nito is 2 square root of 3. So, now let us solve this using the SOHCAHTOA. Okay? Ang sine 30 degrees, ang opposite niya is 2. Okay? Opposite over hypotenuse, ang O natin is 2. Over H natin, that is the hypotenuse. So, which is 4. I-simplify natin. So, 2 over 4, yan ay 1/2. Okay? And then, ang cosine 30 degrees, that is the adjacent over hypotenuse. So, adjacent over hypotenuse. And ang adjacent ng square root of 30, okay, ay 4 and 2 square root of 3. Okay, but then, ang kukunin natin ay yung 2 square root of 3. So, we have 2 square root of 3 over hypotenuse, that is 4. Okay, simplifying this, i-simplify natin ang 2 over 4. So, yan ay 1/2. So, we will have square root of 3 over 2. Okay, square root of 3 over 2. Next, tan 30. Ang tan 30 natin magagaling sa opposite over adjacent. Ang opposite again ng 30 degrees, that is 2 over adjacent, which is 2 square root of 3. So, we have 2 square root of 3 over 2. Baliktad. Okay. Ito ay 2 over square root of over 2 square root of 3. So, maka-cancel ang 2 natin and matitira is 1 over square root of 3. And kapag, since meron tayong radical sign ulit sa denominator natin, we have square root of, we have 1 over square root of 3. Multiply natin kay square root of 3 over square root of 3. Magkakaroon tayo ng square root of 3 over 3. So, ang measurement ng cotangent, ng tangent 30 is square root of 3 over 3. Okay? Next, cosine 30 degrees. I-reciprocate natin ng 1/2. That is 2. Okay? 2 over 1 or 2. Next, ang reciprocal ng cosine 30 degrees, that is secant 30 degrees. So, we have 2 over square root of 3. Multiply natin kay square root of 3 over square root of 3. So, we will have 2 square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3 may square root of 9. And square root of 9, that is 3. So, we have 2 square root of 3 over 3. And then last, we have cotangent 30 degrees. So, pwede natin kunin ang 1 over square root of 3. Okay, pwedeng, yun ang kukunin natin. Then, i-reciprocate natin may square root of 3. Or kung gusto nyo gamitin ang square root of 3 over 3, okay, pwede lang din yun. Okay, kapag meron tayong, okay, ganun din. Gagawin pa natin, i-reciprocate pa rin natin. No? Okay, so we have 3 over square root of 3. Nung reciprocal natin ang square root of 3 over 3 times square root of 3 over square root of 3 magiging 3 square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3. That is square root of 9. So, which is 3. Cancel, cancel. So, dito is square root of 3. So, 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Square root of 3 over 3. Cosecant 30, that is 2. Secant 30, that is 2 square root of 3. And square root of 3 for cotangent 30, that is those are the final answers. Now, let us have your practice. I do hope that you learned something today about our topic in trigonometric ratios, the trigonometric functions, the sine, cosine, tangent, the cosecant, secant, and cotangents, and as well as the Pythagorean theorem. Activity number 1, you are going to solve for the unknown side and the 6 trigonometric ratios of the angle theta using the triangle shown. Pause this video and answer this activity number 1. Please be reminded that all your answers must be in simplest form. Activity number 2, find the unknown sides of the 6 trigonometric ratios of angle 45 degrees using the right triangle shown below. Okay, so katulad pa rin yung ginawa natin kanina, ganun din ang gagawin nyo dito. Okay, having the 4 centimeter as one of the measurement of one side ng right triangle natin. Okay, and then activity number 3, solve for the unknown sides uli and the 6 trigonometric ratios of the theta. And the theta given dito is 60 degrees. Okay, pause these videos to copy and answer these activities.